So it is 11 a.m. time for the next webinar. This time we have myself, Vas Taras, and Karen Linden in North Carolina. Karen is one of the professors here, teaches international business at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. And on the other end, we have Rodrigo, how do you pronounce your last name correctly, please?
Rodrigo del Castillo.
Del Castillo, and then Jorge del Castillo. Is that the same name? Last name? Yeah. So
Yes.
Jorge is at the computer this time. He's one of the professors. And then Rodrigo is the CEO of the company. And it's a very, very cool company. So they're sort of in tourism, but it's not the type of tourism that you normally know. It is like the Indiana Jones type of tourism, like really, really cool, exotic, adventurous stuff. And so the way we will do today is we will start with an overview of the company done by the CEO, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then if you have questions, you can just post them in the comments here if you're attending live, or you can click on the button on the bottom of the screen. You have a button that says raise hand. You can raise your hand and we will give you a chance to talk, to engage in the conversation. You can do that as well. And then everybody else can just send an email to admin@xculture.org, and we monitor the email address. So if any questions come that way, we will ask them. And so we have already a few questions that I would like to ask, but let's start with the presentation. So Rodrigo, it's all yours now.
All right. Hello, I'm Rodrigo Castillo. I am Peruvian. I'm 28 years old, and I studied industrial engineering. First, I want to start telling you a little bit about myself and how I started the company. When I was 24 years old and I had graduated university, I was really looking for something to do. I didn't really find myself in the jobs I was getting, so I decided to make a big change in life and move to the jungle part of Peru, and that's when when a crazy adventure started. And after 2 years of being over there, I came up with Vertical Journey, the adventure tourism company, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that right now. All right, first I need to explain to you guys the product. What is the product that Vertical Journey shows to the world? The product has a lot to do with the country, Peru, tourism in Peru. So first I'm gonna talk a little bit about Peru. Peru is right here, this is South America. You can see Peru is located right there. And it's very close to the equator line, so it's a tropical country. And being a tropical country, it has many very interesting natural factors in it. For example, some of the geography in Peru is the coast right next to the Pacific Ocean right here. The coast is mostly this desert. But then comes the Andes Mountains. The Andes Mountains is a tropical mountain range, very high mountain range too, the second highest in the world. So that makes very different climates. And then we have the Amazon rainforest further to the east. So from west to east, Peru is a country that changes a lot. We have coast, mountain, and jungle. And where the jungle and the mountains meet up, it creates something we call ceja de selva over here. And it's very amazing nature. All right, so speaking in the touristic terms, Peru is divided in three main regions for tourism. The south, the center, and the north. All right, we can see it right there on the map. Right now, presently, the south is the part that is very developed in Peru in what tourism is. For example, I'm pretty sure you've all heard of Machu Picchu right here. Let me put the picture. Machu Picchu, I'm pretty sure everybody has heard of it. Marvel of the world. There's a lot of people coming in here from all over the world in order just to see Machu Picchu. Then the Southern Circuit also has other things such as the lines of Nazca. You probably recognize this as well. Another click. This is the Lake Caca. This is in another region, also in the south. This is in Puno, the highest navigable lake in the world. So the southern Peru has many things to offer. Cusco is amazing. But it has reached a point where the demand is too high for the offer already. There's a lot of people coming into Peru nowadays, and Machu Picchu currently has about 3,000 people heading up there. So it's a lot, it's very concentrated there, and that has created, the demand keeps on growing for tourism in Peru, yet the offer is not meeting the demand. That's where we come in. Northern Peru, as I showed you, Northern Peru, this region, what I just talked about is right here. Cusco, this is the Lake Titicaca, the lines of Nazca right here, Machu Picchu is right here. Southern Peru, that's the circuit. Us in Vertical Journey, we're concentrating in the northern region of Peru, right here. This part right here. So, Vertical Journey has started off in a place called Tarapoto, and right now I'm going to show you some pictures of how interesting it is. Tarapoto's right here. San Martin in the northern part of the region of San Martin. Click, click. Right here. Northern Peru also has a lot of potential, cultural and natural. It has a lot of potential for tourism. For example, this is Cuelap. This is a fortress just as big as Machu Picchu. It's an amazing fortress, and it has a huge potential for what cultural tourism is. People from all over the world are starting to come to Cuelap. Peruvian government is starting to invest in these areas too. There's something we call a funicular, telecabins, I think in English, that take you to this place, and it's just really amazing. Then we have other potentials, such as right here. This is a beautiful picture. This is the Gokta waterfall. This is 771 meters tall. Some of the tallest waterfalls in the world are found right here in this region of northern Peru. 771 meters, I think it's about 2,000 feet, I'm not really sure. It's really high, really, really good. It's recommended for everyone, and a lot of people from all over the world, once again, are coming to see this. Another one, we have beautiful lakes. This is the Jumbo Lake, a blue lake of Sauce, just in the middle of the jungle. And another one. And we also have beautiful rivers with waterfalls coming out of the walls. Like, it's just really amazing. I mean, if you go there, you're in Jurassic Park, let's just say that. So, having been living over there and seeing all of these potentials, one is that I fell in love with nature over there in northern Peru, but also I started seeing a possibility of working around with this. So that's when I decided to create the company and actually be able to share this beauty with the world. Created a company around that. All right, now I'm going to talk about exactly what it is Vertical Journey does. We have all of these potentials, natural potentials that are very beautiful, yet I needed to create a product to sell around that. So I don't just want to take people out to the jungle. Taking people out to the jungle is very nice, but I like to give a little something extra. So Vertical Journey does a lot of research and development in what new and innovative touristic products are, touristic activities. For example, I work a lot with people who are mountain climbers. I'm a mountain climber myself, and what we do is we take people out to the jungle to do an activity called canyoning. That's one of the main things we have. For example, click right now. This is canyoning. Right here you can see that's one of those guys is me. We're going down the waterfall. We're taking tourists to do this type of stuff. Beautiful nature over there. It's just this type of activities are the ones that we're looking to do in Vertical Journey that we take people to do from all over the world. Canyoning is just one of them. We also do cave explorations and jungle walks. Just really submerge ourselves in nature and adventure tourism for people looking for adventure. So that brings us to the types of products I have. So we already know it's adventure tourism, northern Peru. We've seen the nature. We know what it is. Now, the types of products that are born around the adventure tourism. In tourism, there's four types of main activities that you can do. One is a hotel. Catering, I believe it's in English. Catering is very important. It's completely needed. Everybody needs a place to sleep. So catering, beautiful, but I like to travel. I didn't really want to get into catering because it really cements you to one spot. Then there's restaurants. People need to eat all the time. Transportations, people need to move. And then there's activities. Activities, that's the one we're doing over here in Vertical Journey. And We have four, let's say, four types of activities that we do. One is daily tours. That's how we, for example, somebody is staying at a hotel already. They contact us. We're there. Hey, we want a tour for tomorrow or here in 2 days. All right, no problem. We pick them up from the hotel. We start off the tour from when we pick them up. We do the tour, then we bring them back. That's the daily tours that we offer people. Then we have touristic packages. Touristic packages, for example, are already more elaborate. For example, if one of you wants to come to Peru, you want to come to Tarapoto 5 days and 4 nights, I set the entire trip with hotels, with transportations, with food, and with touristic activities. So we design the entire tour. That's where it gets a little bit artistic too, and it gets really nice because you have all of these things that you can do, and you have to like make them be able to really show the jungle at its fullest. So it gets really fun. Then we have touristic packages premium, which is pretty much the same thing, just with really good hotels. And like the best of the best. We work with good hotels all the time, but one is a good hotel and another thing is already a resort. So premium is mostly with resorts that we work with. And then there's excursions, which is the fourth and final type of products we have. Excursions is the ones I personally like the most. Excursions, we have to set up a date. That's where it differences from touristic packages. We need a certain date where the event is at, and we take people to these events. We need to, the reason why we do this, and it's not just we take people whenever they want, is because we need a minimum. Usually it's a minimum of 4 or 5 people, and we try to take groups of about 12 people to these excursions into the jungle. They are, since we take groups, we can go a bit further. Some of our excursions are about 4 days long, and we have to go to places that you can only reach by boat. For example, 3 hours by boat to get there. 3 beautiful hours, but we need to take a group on these things. So that's pretty much the product. And well, today, Vertical Journey, while we're doing this, Vertical Journey is looking to expand itself. We're really looking to grow. We've reached the point where our product has been tested, it has been elaborated, it has been innovative, everything. The product has been a success. We've had many clients already. We started operations on the 13th of June, and on the 13th of June of 2016. So we almost have about over 1.5 years in the market, and we've had really good feedback from all of our clients. Really, we've been doing a good job. We've been really concentrating on having a good product, which is the spinal cord of any business, I believe, having a good product. Now we really want to focus in making the world know about us. You can call it marketing, but we really want to be there on the map, to have people coming to Peru and really knowing that Tarapoto, that northern Peru, is a good destination. It's an amazing destination. Just really try to gather people from all over the world. So that's where I'm here asking for you guys' help in this project. And well, that's me. I've talked a lot right now.
Wonderful. A lot of questions, yes. Can you describe your typical customer? Who is your client?
All right, our customers, for example, they are from all over the world. For example, right now, a few days back, we have some people from New Zealand. Then before that, we have some people from Norway. We've had many Americans too, people from Europe, even people from Asia too, a lot. Not too many, but yes, we have had. So our customers are really people looking for adventure.
So I assume that would be kind of younger, middle-aged people, probably, not necessarily retired, right? Or it doesn't matter.
We've had people from all ages, really. For example, we've had people in their 60s doing this waterfall right here. People in their 60s.
Huh. So it's not only young 30-something-year-olds, so also older. Okay.
Exactly. We get people from all ages, really, because these type of activities is mostly you have to be wanting to do it. You don't need to really. It's not that hard. Let's just say that doing this isn't too hard. It's actually quite easy. It's just very intense. Let's say that. So you just really need to want to do it. But yes, we mostly target, let's say, people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, yeah, younger and middle-aged. Sometimes we get older people, but it's usually young and middle-aged.
Hmm. How big are the groups? You said sometimes you need a minimum size, but what's the normal size of a group when you take them for a day trip, for a whole trip, or for an excursion?
Well, we take people, even if it's just for a daily tour, for example, even if it's just one or two people, we take them. Sometimes the group is, most of the time, the group is bigger. We try to keep the groups at minimum, no more than 12 people, because you already start putting too many different people together and creates too much disorder. Sometimes the quality of service goes lower if you have just too many people. So we try to keep it under groups 12 tops, 12 people
Hmm.
tops.
Hmm. I have a bunch of questions, but before I proceed with mine, I see we have quite a few people watching live. Josefina, Daniel, Mitsuoko, Monica, Nicholas, all you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt anytime. You can post your questions by clicking on Q&A and simply post any question, or just raise your hand, but we'll add you to the panelists and you can talk to us. But I'll proceed with my questions. Pricing, how expensive is this?
How expensive it is, you said?
Yeah. Yes, what's the price?
All right, the price really depends on what type of service you take. For example, we have daily tours that are $60, 60 US dollars. The daily tours for a full day with food included, transportation, everything. We pick you up from your hotel, we bring you back. Then we have other tours, for example, touristic package, 3 days and 2 nights for $290. And then we have excursions. Right now I have a 4-day, 3-night excursion. We're including even the airplane ticket, and it's $590.
That's not bad, actually. So who are your competitors, and how much do they charge compared to your prices?
All right. Our competitors, I would say, locally in Tarapoto, we are the only ones doing this, really. Like in the northern Peru, it's just starting to develop. So really, we are about like the only ones that are doing what we're doing in what is innovative activities. So really, our competitors, we have potential competitors that can come in that are other businesses that want to do the same thing, but they're not there yet. And mostly, I would say other touristic spots. Because sometimes people get to Peru and they have to decide. So most of the people usually choose to go to Cusco because Machu Picchu is what they've been hearing all the time about. Peru, Machu Picchu. So I would say other touristic spots are our competition and our competitors.
Mhm. And then when it comes to advertisement, how do you advertise, promote your services at this time? Do you do promotion only locally, or do you try to do it internationally? Do you use social media or any other tools?
All right. Right now, in this instant, click por favor. We have a, no, click a la siguiente. Right now, what we're doing is we have a strong website that we created right here. You guys can go in to see it. We have a Facebook, Instagram. We're moving through there. We're also on TripAdvisor. For example, TripAdvisor helps us out a lot. We're #1 in the entire region right now, so it really helps. Also, we have alliances with certain tourism agencies, local hotels as well. These people send us a lot of clients, and just a lot of mouth to mouth. So this is pretty much how we're moving the business. So this gets us people. Yes, it does. We have clients, but we want to take this to the next level. We want to make the business grow. We want more clients. So
that's hopefully what X-Culture students can help with. So if we can then maybe go quickly question by question that the students will be working on. So they will start with the competition analysis. And so we've heard a little bit about the competition right there in that specific niche. But then another question will be, so where do potential clients can come from? And so the question that calls for is, do you have interest in a specific region where the customers could be coming from, or it doesn't really matter for you as long as there is an interested person? You would be working with anyone from anywhere?
I would definitely be working with anybody from anywhere. I really want to show this to the entire world, show these regions to the entire world. So I do not limit myself to certain regions. Mostly what would be the one thing, the limiting factor, I think you could call it, would be the pricing. I mean,
right.
It's expensive, but it's not that cheap either. So it would be mostly people that can afford to. I mean, these type of activities, you have to pay because, or else it's not safe.
Right, right. But at the same time, I assume, yes. I mean, most people, let's say in the United States, Canada, the European Union, probably can afford something like this. But at the same time, when you go to so-called developing countries, what I see there, at least, it seems like there is a great division between the rich and the poor. And the truth is that, yes, while most of the population would never afford something like this, there is a smaller but still a sizable segment of people who do have the money and would like to spend it on something cool and interesting. So even when you go to, for example, my native Ukraine, where for the vast majority of the people that would be inaccessible, there are in every city, there are literally hundreds of people who not only can afford it, but they seek out opportunities like this. So I wouldn't discount them just because, it's a developing country, whatever that means, right? So
we've had clients from countries like, for example, Chile, Argentina, Colombia, which just like us in Peru,
right.
They're the countries, and definitely they've all had very beautiful experiences with us. So it's been amazing. So yes, we're also developing countries. We're also looking at those markets. Like I said, just the entire world.
Yes. So next one would be marketing. And so one of the big challenges is, how do you advertise a business like this globally? And so do you have interest in a specific advertisement platform like social media, or if an interesting idea comes along, you're willing to try just about anything that is inexpensive and potentially effective?
Just about anything.
From myself, what I would add, if I may, so I've read literally thousands of those reports over these years. So the advice I would give to the students, and here I'm addressing the students. So I know many of you will be recommending for this company, for example, social media. You will say, oh, advertise on Facebook or Instagram. If you provide an answer like this one, it's not sufficient. I mean, obviously the company has thought about that and probably they're already doing something. So if you would like to provide a useful advice on advertisement, especially through social media or any other platforms, make sure that you do enough research and provide enough details. Like, for example, let's say you're saying that, try YouTube and try Facebook. Well, tell us more. Tell us how exactly it can be done, how the audience can be selected, how much would it cost, what the ad might look like, when would you place it, how would you select the people who will see it, how frequently would you advertise it, how many times the people should see it. Like, there are so many different settings that somebody has to figure out. And so if you want to make your advice useful, provide literally like a step-by-step guideline, like click on this link, create an account, it will cost you so much, use this banner, place it like this, step by step, because it takes time to figure out how it works. And so the challenge, or many companies don't use it, not because they don't think or didn't think about this opportunity. It's just because there is a lot to figure out. And so you are expected, or hopefully will be able, to provide all those details so that the CEO of the company can just look at your list and literally follow your instructions step by step and give it a try. Even, as I said, provide the price estimates, how much will it cost, what kind of audience will it reach, what the expected conversion rate is. Normally, if let's say 2% of the people who see your ad click on it, that's good. But then of those, if 2% become paying customers, that's good. So provide all those details. Don't just say advertise on Facebook, because otherwise it would not be very actionable. Now, in terms of the entry mode, so in the challenge here, you ask if it would be better to, let's say, for example, somebody says that there would be enough interest for this product in Japan. So the question then is, should the company, or would the company prefer to advertise directly to the potential customers and just work with them? Or would you prefer, or are you open to working, for example, with local tourist agencies, or perhaps some governmental agencies, or maybe some other companies that work in this industry? What's your kind of preferred mode of collaboration with potential partners in other countries, or your mode of presence, I would say? So is it going to be just direct exporting, or would you like to have some partners? And if so, who could be those partners?
I am definitely open to working with partners in other parts of the world. In tourism, most of the things work with a commission. Tourism is a business that's very commission-based. Getting the clients, tourism is a type of business where you don't have a store and you literally have to move the people to you, bring the people to you. So definitely commission-based, and with other agencies around the world, I am totally interested in working like that.
Yeah. Now, I didn't notice we have actually quite a few questions from the students. So there is one question from Mitsuoko, and he's asking, do they offer different levels of difficulty for their packages and excursions? If not, would this be something that you would consider?
Yes, we do offer different levels of difficulty. We have certain routes that we even have in our touristic packages relaxation times and even relaxation tours. What we specialize on is adventure tourism, but we know that sometimes families want to travel. They might have a young kid or with their grandpa or something like that. It's we design tours for everybody, so it's really we have many designs, but adventure, even inside of adventures which we specialize on, but even inside of adventure, we have different difficulties. For most of the things are for brand new people, for beginners. They're mostly all for beginners who have never done canyoning or rappel in their lives. The only thing we ask for in canyoning is that they don't have any moving impediment, any handicap to their movements. If you can walk well, you can do this.
Nice. Now, a question from Nicholas Smith. Did you want to expand your business in other countries or just specifically northern Peru? And I assume here he's not asking about where the customers come from, but where you organize your trips.
Yes. All right. Right now, Coco, if you can put it on the Peru map. Right now, I am the main focus is to make the northern route. My current dream is to come from the jungle, which was right here from San Martin, right here to the mountains. This is Amazonas, the city of Chachapoyas. That's the next part we're at. And then we want to go to Cajamarca and Lambayeque and La Libertad. Like that, we can really make a corridor of the north. Once we're done with the corridor of the north, though, which is the first step, I am open to expanding definitely in other countries. We're really, I would have to travel a lot. It would be really interesting, which would be very fun to do. And definitely interested in expanding in other countries after we're done with northern Peru, of course.
And there is a related question from Anna Jan. She's asking, why you limited to north of Peru only? Why choose?
Well, the reason why we started with northern Peru is because it's the region that is currently developing in Peru. This region, telling you a little bit of history, 20 years ago was hit really hard by terrorism. But today it's completely safe. It has changed. So this country has changed a lot in the last few years. Right now it's, believe me, I've traveled to the States a few times. I feel much safer over here than over there in certain areas, right? It's, so this region has just opened up to the world. It has good highways now. It has a constant plains. So there's a lot of people coming into this region. It's just opening up for the first time in history. The north of Peru is opening up to the world. So that's why I'm starting there. The south already has a lot of competition, a lot of people doing a lot of things. It's tourism is starting to move. So this is exactly where things are beginning. That's why I know that.
To give us a perspective, so how big a territory is that? So north to south, how big is Peru? Is it like what, 1,000 kilometers, more or less?
How big is Peru?
Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine, but I'm guessing so that must be at least 1,000 kilometers, right, from the top of Peru to the bottom.
It's about well, in square kilometers. We use kilometers over here.
Right.
It's 1,200,000 square kilometers.
But if you travel like from the south to the north, how long would be the trip?
From the south to the north, it's pretty much like
from Tumbes to Tacna. It's
by road is like 24 hours. More than that.
No, it's more than that. It's like doing Miami, New York. No, Miami.
Oh, that's a lot. So
Miami, DC, more or less that length.
Wow, that's So that's like a 2-day trip if you drive nonstop.
Yes. From Tacna to Tumbes, from right there. Chile to Ecuador, it's a pretty long route.
Ali Razan is asking, do you have memberships or subscriptions or something like every 3 trips you get a 4th trip for free or some percentage off?
Hold on, I didn't understand the question. What was that?
So Ali Razan is asking if you offer some sort of like a subscription or a membership, or buy 3 trips and get the 4th one for free or something like that, like repeat customers essentially.
All right. Every once in a while, we offer certain discounts and stuff like that, like promotions. We do not have a membership right now. We are just starting to have, let's say, second comers. Well, we've even had a group of third comers already, which has been very nice. But we have not gotten into that aspect of membership yet, but it is something we could consider.
Yeah. Daniel Juez or Juez is asking or wants to ask a question. Daniel, I think you can speak now. So there is a student who wants to talk to you, so I just promoted him to the panelist. Daniel, if you unmute your microphone, you should be able to talk now. Go ahead. For some reason, we cannot hear Daniel. Daniel, try again. Well, while he's trying to work out the audio, let me go through the questions here. Zaira Garcia is asking, what is your biggest challenge and constraint at this time? Where do you need help most?
The biggest challenge, all right. The biggest challenge will definitely be in exactly what I am asking for help in right now, which is the marketing. Really
right.
Challenging to bring people to this area. Most people in the world don't know about this area. So of the world, Northern Peru, they always, every time, like people know Peru because of Machu Picchu, but that's the thing, they know because of Machu Picchu. So really marketing would be the biggest challenge right now, definitely.
Right, yeah, so business, yes. Mitsuoko is asking, what kind of training do the tour operators and guides undergo? How do they communicate safety to their customers?
Excellent question. All right, Peru. All right, first of all, we have to understand what Peru is. Peru is a country where there's not many normatives. It hasn't gotten there yet. People they are not aware of adventure tourism too much. Like the government doesn't really have this sorry, this is where language barrier comes in. The government doesn't really have too many laws on this, but to us, it doesn't matter. We use laws, we use normatives and the type of, we use from other countries. We look at Costa Rica a lot. Costa Rica is a country that has a lot of tourism, adventure tourism developed. So we look at Costa Rica a lot, follow the methods they use a lot. Every single one of our operators for these type of tours also is certificated. We have in Peru, in this region right here, Ancash, we have a school of a high mountain. People over there, there's ice mountains, huge ice mountains, about over 6,000 meters tall. And there's a lot of people going up to these mountains. So there's a lot of mountain rescuers in Peru. So all the guides are capacitated in mountain rescue. They've taken courses on mountain rescue.
Right.
And fly into the jungle. And we also have what is in outdoor terrain first aid, but specialized on outdoors. So every single one of our guides has been capacitated on this, and in order for our methods, we copy the ones from Costa Rica mostly. From other countries really, but Costa Rica, we look at Costa Rica a lot in order to really be able to guide ourselves, because over here we don't have something like really. Over here you can do whatever you want. That's the truth.
So, that's fair enough. Yeah. So we have Zaira and Daniel trying to talk to you. So you guys should be able to talk now. Your microphones are unmuted. So try to talk if you have questions. Go ahead.
Hi, Jorge. Hoping you can hear me.
Rodrigo.
Oh, Rodrigo, sorry about that. I wasn't able to join from the very beginning. So one of my questions was just mentioned regarding the biggest challenge. I actually meant, what is Vertical Journey's biggest constraint? Like, I know we can give you a proposal of how to market, but what do we have to consider throughout this process? Like, what is the limit that you guys have, that maybe it could be a budget or just what is a big constraint that we must take into consideration to not give you a proposal that's out of your reach?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
Well, Definitely, there would be some constraint budget-wise, but it's not too much of a constraint. I mean, we are really looking to innovate here, and we're really looking to we really want to get into marketing right now. We really want this. So we might have some constraints budget-wise, but if it's a really good idea, most likely we will go for it. What we're looking for is mostly just really good ideas that we can implement in the real world.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zaira. Daniel, do you want to try to talk now?
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. Rodrigo, I just have one question. Well, two questions in one. Maybe you were trying some things to bring more clients. What have you tried until now? And if there's something that's not working on your advertising?
All right. Pretty much right now, this startup of Vertical Journey, I've been, let's just say, a lot by myself. I've been looking at every single part of the business just myself. So really I don't have enough hands for things. So marketing is also not my specialty. So I've gone into Facebook, Instagram, I've gone into TripAdvisor, I've gone into all these things. I've gone to talk to agencies, hotels, everything, but I don't really have the know-how on how to really do a big marketing plan. So the know-how would definitely be one restraint. And another restraint that I haven't been able to do so far is the time. I've been mostly focusing on product. Product is extremely important in this type of business because safety is everything. Like I said before, even if the Peruvian government doesn't do the normatives or whatever, we really focus on safety here because it's the most important. We want to have fun. We want to have fun. We don't want to cry. We want to laugh, not cry. So those would be mostly the reasons why we haven't really exploded with marketing yet. It's been going, but we're looking to go to another level now.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Daniel. Karen has a question here. So
I think it's excellent that you're already on TripAdvisor and you're getting that recognition. A couple of things that I think about just from a consumer perspective. I've gone on a couple of kayaking tours and I've received a lot of advertisement from places that are outside of my price range. So Smithsonian, National Geographic, but then I did find through REI, which is a clothing outfitter, but they also do travel. I found a couple of tours and I participated on the East Coast. And it's a lot like the price range you're talking about, but it's a partnership. So let's say there's a company in South Carolina called Coastal Expeditions. They have a partnership with this larger retailer, and I'm sure that there's a pricing model there. I don't know if you've looked into any of those types of partnerships, but that way you get that incredible marketing and you get the influence and those types of individuals that are looking for adventure travel. Have you looked into those types of models?
Definitely, I do have some foreign partners. Well, I don't know if you can call it partners, more like other businesses that are allies with us that do send us people from, for example, from Spain. In Spain, they send us some people from Spain, and sometimes we send them some people. Like I said, some clients. I mean, like I said, in tourism, almost everything is commission based. So definitely, any other agency that can get you clients, they get their commission, and they send you the clients. Definitely, working like that is absolutely the way to work in tourism. Really, now, like everybody in tourism really works like that, commission based. So I would definitely be looking to making alliances worldwide.
So I'm curious then, it reminded me, so like companies like Mountain Equipment Corp or Ray, do they do any of that promotion?
They could. That could be a really interesting exploration for the students to look in their country, other countries, right. What are those alliances? And then what comes outside of the price point where it's not valuable for this company to want to partner with those larger ones. It might just be too expensive, but those would be things to not only recommend, but dig in a bit and get some financials.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how it works in other countries, but in Canada, in the United States, we have two big kind of cooperative types of store chains. One is called Mountain Equipment Co-op, and the other one is Ray. I don't know what it stands for.
REI.
Oh, yeah. So in any case, they sell the equipment for tourism, adventure, climbing, all that stuff. And I'm not sure how and if it's possible, but if it was possible to strike a deal with one of those companies, then that would be a wonderful promotion opportunity. So if students want to explore it in your countries to see, maybe even approach those companies, those stores, and see if they would be willing and interested perhaps to be in some form of a partnership, I guess that would be a viable business promotion, right? So a few more questions. So there is a question from Josefina Massa. A very good question. How do clients access the locations where your company operates? Do you offer transportation from major international airports, for example, in Lima?
I didn't understand. I think what I understood is...
So transportation. So let me read it again. I was far from the camera. How do clients access the locations where your company operates? And do you offer transportation to the major airports, like, for example, to Lima?
Okay. We, right now, currently, we are working with airlines, but just local airlines. So from Lima, definitely, we connect to the north part of Peru. So we have, we work the flights, but only once the clients are in Peru. So once they reach Peru, we can take care of them already. Even in Lima, we do some certain things because sometimes people get here and they gotta spend the night in Lima, for example, or they wanna go to some other places. Also, we work, really we're working the entire country. We're concentrating in the north, but we also work other areas. So when people come into Lima, we can take care of them in Lima and then fly them over to the jungle and bring them back to Lima.
So clients have to get to Peru on their own, but once they are in Peru, you should be able to pick them up just about anywhere.
Exactly. Currently, we're working like that. We would be open to the option of working the entire trip already, just like a full package with the international flight, but we're just not there yet.
Mm-hmm. Now, there is another question again from Zaira. From experience, I know that many places offer lower prices for local residents. Is this something Vertical Journey does? So basically, do you differentiate the prices depending on whether they're Peruvians or if they come from overseas?
We are not doing that. We're not doing that currently. I have thought of it as an option because in order to promote local tourism a little bit more, but we're not doing that currently. Currently, the prices are the same for all.
Now, there are a few questions, and one of them is better formulated from Anna Jen. She's asking, when people go on the trip, on the adventure trip, one, are they supposed to sign any form like injuries risk consent form? So I assume she means like basically liability release form. And then another question would be then, so how exactly do we sign up for your trips? Do we go to your website and just fill out a form, or how do we become your customers?
Okay, that's two questions. I will
Two
answer.
questions, yes.
All right. The liability forms, we do have a liability form. It's called a limited responsibility form. Why limited? For example, we take people on an excursion. There's certain things we can control, certain things we cannot control. For example, if somebody's doing rappel down a waterfall, our equipment, for example, is top of the line. The person's really not going to fall. But let's just say something happens there that is completely our responsibility. I mean, the equipment is ours. We're taking care of that. The entire method is ours. So we have responsibility there. But there's one part, which is where people sign, where we do not have responsibility. For example, we have to do a jungle walk. Somebody steps on a rock or a hole and they twist their ankle. That is not our responsibility. I mean, that's going to the outdoors. So we have a response plan in case of anything. Somebody twists their leg, something, we have a response plan. All our, like I said before, all our personnel are trained to handle these type of situations. But the form says that we are not responsible for those type of things.
And then becoming a customer, so do we sign up online? Do we send you an email? How does it work?
Okay. The second part, which is the second question, which was how do people sign up? Well, mostly we try to get people to the website. And from the website, they can send either a form or an email. The website has the email right there. And there's also a form right there in order to make a reservation. So by all our channels, we try to get people to the website. Many of our sales, though, are also done through third parties, though. For example, tourism agencies that sell our products. So when it's like that, it's a bit different because what we do is that we try to get them to make contact with us. They give us a code. The code is for the agency that they're working with, and then from that agency, we already know that that client is from that agency. So I think I mixed it up a little bit there. Basically, when we work with agencies, they send the contact of their clients to us, but with a code, we can recognize that it is their client, so the commission is already marked for that particular agency. And then we take control there, because we do a lot of custom-made tours. So sometimes they might want to go for 3 days and 2 nights, but they don't want to do exactly the one that comes out on the website. They want to do it a little bit different. No problem, we can do tailor-made. So we try to make really contact with the person, and even in many cases we make personal interviews with them, like 5-minute interviews, but we really try to get to know exactly what people want to do.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes they want to party one night, sometimes they want to do a lot of adventure but also relax, or only adventure or only relax. There's cultural things. We really want to get to know our client in order to be able to show them the best thing we can show them.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. The questions keep coming, but we are running out of time. So let me ask a couple more, and maybe we will stop at that point. One, how many people do you have working for you, tour coordinators and guides? And is there a scheduling constraint on the maximum number of tours that you can offer at the same time? A question from Mitsuoko.
Currently, we have 8 people on our team, on our field team. The field, we have 8 people working with us. They are from many nationalities. Many of them are Peruvian, but also we have many expats. We have a person from Canada working with us, and also from Holland. We also have many languages. We have English, French, Dutch, Spanish.
And that is actually another question specifically Zaira is asking here. Do you offer your marketing materials and tour support only in English, or do you also do it in Spanish and other languages?
We do it in many languages. Like I just said, we have 4 languages right now that we can work with. We have Spanish, English, Dutch, and French.
Okay, that covers most of the languages. I see there are a few questions. I see Christian and I see Piyush. We did ask those questions before, guys, so just watch the recording. I'm not going to go into that. There is a question that I would like to ask. So being a business owner, business operator, an owner of a small and young business, so you said you've been in this for about 2 years. What is your biggest challenge as a person? Most of our students probably want to be where you are now. They want to be there in a few years. Most of them will be graduating within a year or two, some with the MBA degree, some with the undergraduate business degree, and I assume a good portion of them would like to be business owners. So what advice would you give to them to prepare themselves for that career, and what kind of challenges they should expect as startup owners?
All right, that's a very good question. As a human being, there's certain difficulties about startups, definitely. One of the biggest ones is knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses, and in your weaknesses, seeking help, finding people to work with. That's one of the things that you have to do. You have to know your limits as a person. For example, when I first started the business, I was mostly living literally in the jungle, doing jungle explorations, getting new places opened. Very amazing. But now my work is starting to change a little bit. I'm more in the city now. I'm trying to market more. So really, I have to always be switching hats, as we have a saying here in Peru, cambiar de sombrero. You have to really be switching hats when you open up a business, because you have to be inside of every single part of your business. So that's having to switch hats. That's one of the difficult parts, because it's not only switching hats in work, but it's also lifestyle. For example, right now I'm in Lima. I'm staying in the city of Lima for a few months. Completely different than when I was living in the jungle. It's
right.
But I like that too. So it's challenging, but it's also enjoyable.
Is it worth it? I mean, do you sometimes think that you prefer to have a job from 8 till 5, or you would still want to be a business owner?
Oof, I'm really happy that I'm doing this. There's certain security that comes from, like, I have friends that study the same thing as me. There's certain security definitely that comes from, you're going to get that paycheck at the end of the day, at the end of the month. I have nothing that says I'm going to get anything at the end of the month except the work I do. But it's actually, it makes it more exciting. I like it. It's not up for everyone though. I don't think everybody would be happy doing that. So it's about finding what you love in the end.
Yeah, probably worth trying. And then if it doesn't work for you, then go and get a job from 8 till 5, but definitely worth trying.
Definitely worth trying. Definitely give it a shot.
Well, so we are out of time, so let's stop here. I will tell to the students that if you have any more questions, please send them by email. We will forward them to the company. And there is one actually good question from Nicholas that I wanted to ask, so let me ask one more. Does your business has seasonal cycles? So is it kind of more or less the same all year round, or you have seasons when it's busier and when it's less busy?
It does. Since we're in the tropics, we don't have a winter like with snow or anything like that. It's very tropical, so it's always hot. But there is a season where it's rainy season and dry season. In the tropics, rainy season is just it rains more. Dry season is it rains less. It's not really dry, and it rains all the time really. But we can operate with rain, no problem. But tourism does go down a little bit. During this time of year, January, February, March, that would be considered the rainy season.
Okay, good to know. All right, well, so students, if you have any other questions, or if you're watching this as a recording later on and you have some questions, just send us an email. We will forward it to the company. We know that the company CEOs are very busy, so what we do is we don't forward every question. We create a database of frequently asked questions, and most of you ask the same question over and over again. So if it is a question that had been answered before, we just copy the answer and send it to you. But if it's a new question, then we contact the company for the additional information and then add it to the database for the future. For now, thank you so much. So we will have another webinar in a few weeks when you already have something. And at that time, we will ask the students to present their work and get some feedback. And then obviously at the end of the semester, we will have a stack of reports, hopefully with a lot of interesting ideas.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. And
thank you. Good luck with your business, and hopefully one day we will be your clients too. So I've never, have you been to Peru?
Never.
Maybe we should do it.
Sounds very exciting.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know. Organize the X-Culture Symposium in Peru, maybe, right? Would you be able to host about 200 students? Like, would you be able to make some arrangements? We have the next one in Italy, but so maybe we should do one in Peru. And as long as you can make arrangements for the hotel and stuff, we'll pay obviously for everything, but I don't know, why not do it in the wilderness?
I have a note here, so I think we should talk about it.
Maybe 2019 or something, so why not?
Definitely, it would be very interesting.
Yeah. We had 150 people in Miami from 43 countries, and it seems like that's the profile that, you know, would be interested in some sort of an adventure like that. So I don't know, maybe sometime next year or year after that. So, well, thank you so much. Truly appreciate it, and we will be in touch then soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.